Good morning, nice city. My name is Ákos and I'm also part of the REDmod team. Today I will be talking about a really interesting but a really hard topic, animation modding. First of all, let's download all the assets for it. You have to go to the Cyberpunk modding support website, and from here download the REDmod plugin. Okay, and you will also need Cyberpunk, of course, and also the REDmod DLC. Please get it as well, because without it, it will not work. Also, you will need the Woven kit, which is a mod editor creator for Red Engine games. It is currently developed by the community. Go to the releases page, and here you can find the latest beta release from here, and you can download it. Okay, let's unzip everything. Unzip these, and I will also be using the Blender animation retargeting. It can be downloaded from GitHub as well. It is used to map bones between two animation sets. And of course you will be needing the latest Blender as well. So let's start it up. From the unzipped REDmod plugin folder through the Blender RE folder, there is this Blender RE animations plugin. You should zip it, and after that you can install it through Blender, through Edit, Preferences, Install. Let's install the animation retargeting plugin, and also install the Blender RE animations plugin. After these, a new context menu will be available here, and now you can import an RE animsets file. Let's import one to the resources folder. These are the starting model files which you could use. Let's start with the standing basic model. Let's wait a bit. After that, you could see the rig is now visible, and it also has animation keyframes in it, but it is standing still. This is the best one to start with. I have prepared two FBX animations which I will be using. So let's import one of them through downloads. The dancing one. Okay, and with the retarget tool I can retarget the bones from the FBX to the RE imported animation, and I also have a retarget config for it. What's important here is that you can match the bones with the FBX file. And the most important thing is that it is a little bit offsetted. So you have to look out for this. The animation bone names are a little bit offsetted. And after this, you can see that our RE animation will be moving, actually dancing. Yes, okay. We will also need to align the rest position, and you have to make it in a way that it is T-posing. Okay. After that, you can see that the remapping worked, and now you can export the RE file. Let's name it anims.re. We could actually increase the time frames length by increasing its end value here, and after that we could see a much more longer animation for it. And we could also export it as well. Times to .re. To validate that the RE file exporting Word as intended, you could re-import it into Blender, and let's see it if its animation is still working like it should. Let's wait for a minute. Okay, it looks like it's working. From the downloaded Kit folder, we could start the program here. Let's wait for a bit. In this program, we will have to choose our install location where Cyberpunk is, and after that it will find all the assets necessary. So the exit path for me is here. Okay, let's finish it. And after that we could create a new mod. Let's name it test, and the location for it will be in the mods folder here. Let's select it. Okay, let's create it. If everything is working correctly, then you should see the asset browser here. Yes, nice. We could also dock it inside the editor itself. Okay. And after that, you could choose for animation here. The hardest part about animation modding is finding the exact same animation name, which you will be replacing in the game. You will have to find the animation name, and you will have to find the anims file through the asset browser here. For a starting point, you could launch the game and look for an NPC or a main character, and try to figure out which animation must be playing, like that. Inside the game, you should find some NPCs which have some interesting features, like cigar in hand, cone in hand, drinking something, doing something, and the more specific it is, the more easily it can be replaced and found through the asset browser. For example, here you can see an NPC is holding a cigar in left hand and a cone in the right hand. So we have to look for something like this. So let's find this NPC's animation file. So inside animations folder, you should look for NPC, generic characters, it was average sized, and show the open world folder. You could see a bunch of specific animations, and you should look for something like standing with right hand cane and left hand cigar. That will be it. Okay, and after that you should one moment, find the anims file which we just exported from Blender, and you should copy it inside the mods test source raw folder, and after that it will be visible through Kit. Okay, through the import export tool you could import it inside this animation file set. First of all, inside the animation file we should look for the specific animation name which we would like to replace. It's really important to note that the animation name you have to replace should match the RE file's name with it. So we should rename it. Let's stand cane left hand 1. So this way, during the animation, when he's smoking a cigarette, that animation will be replaced. Okay, let's look for it one more time inside it. So we are replacing the smoke 01 animation. The name is matches, and after that we should select import and process selected. You should be really careful about naming your RE files. You have to double check the underlines. It has to be exactly the same if you want to replace an animation named like this. After that, let's import it. Let's tick it, import process selected, and after that you will see that the import has failed because the rig is still missing for it. Inside the animations file, you can see that it has a rig through base, characters, base entities, man base, yes, and it has a default rig from here, and we also need to import it to our project as well in order for it to work. Okay, let's try it again. Process selected, and after that we could see that the animation import has succeeded. After that we should install it as a REDmod project. It will pack it, and we can launch the game and see if anything changed. We should look for the same NPC as before. Let's load our save file. Wait for a bit. Okay, and let's look for our NPC, and let's wait for that smoking animation to start. This was the second one, and we have replaced the first smoking animation. Hopefully something will change. Yes, that's it. So the first smoking animation was replaced with dancing animation. So instead of smoking, he will dance. Okay, let's do something more advanced. Let's replace a sitting animation. For this, you should import an FBX file, which is a sitting animation, and let's import our standing RE file. Let's retarget our bones the same way as before. Let's load our config, and we could extend this animation a bit. So the most obvious problem with this is that he is sitting in the air, and he will be also sitting in the game as well if we export it like this. So in order to fix it, we have to edit the bones itself like that. We have to select all of them. Yeah, and after that we should move it, the whole bone structure, to the origo. Something like this maybe, and after that let's switch back to pose mode, and we could see that he's almost sitting straight up on the origo point, but a small fix is required because it is misaligned. So we have to look for this hips bone, and because of this animation retargeting thing, we have to look for drivers. Inside the drivers, we can see that it is retargeted, and we should delete it and go back to the timeline so we can edit it properly. We actually don't really need any of the key points here. We should make it in a way that he is sitting straight up. Something like this. We should also look for the legs so they will not be in negative z coordinates, something like this. Okay, and maybe he is leaning back a little bit too much, so we could fix it as well. We have to delete the keyframes and replace this one. Okay. Okay, let's export it to our anims2.era file. We have to remember that we have to rename it in order for it to work. Okay, so who has a sitting animation? We could animate probably one of our main characters named Dex while he is sitting in his car waiting for us. Okay, and we also need our exported RE file. Let's copy it into our workspace. Okay, and after that let's look for the Dex's animations, and we will need to replace probably the sit car, lean, hold cigar, elbow on door. Let's try to replace this one. We have to rename the anims2 file to sit car, lean, hold cigar, elbow on door 01. Okay, and now let's replace it. Okay, confirm, ticket, import, process selected. It has failed. Why? Because Dex needs a bigger rig for it. Let's look through the Fatman rig folder, and we have to use the manfat.rig for it to work. Okay, let's try it again. Import, process selected. Okay, it has succeeded. Let's install it and launch it. Let's load a save file where Dex should be sitting in his car. Dex should be here, but he is not there. What has happened? Well, the animation importing has failed because you have to remember 2 or 3 really important things while importing animations. First of all, you have to make sure that the RE file name is the same as the animation you want to replace. Second of all, inside the Blender, you have to make sure that the root and hips, bones, rotations are correctly aligned. And thirdly, what the case is here is that when an animation set file is not cooked properly through Wolvenkit, then some of the animation buffers are missing or got corrupted. And after that, the import commandlet will not work as it should be. So with some trial and error, you could find out which animations could be replaced with Wolvenkit. Otherwise, you should fix those animation buffers by yourself or cook those files from a different source or tool. Let's replace the sit car lean left hand elbow on door 01 animation. Let's import it. Process. Okay, succeeded. Install and launch. Let's load up a different save file where Dex is waiting for us. You can see we have replaced his animation, and now he is waving at us. You could work a little bit more on the hips, so he will be sweeping more properly, but you can do a lot of things with this. Let's try to replace a more generic animation, like running inside the open world, inside Night City. So, first of all, let's import the standing basic model, and also we should import another FBX for it. I have this spin combo, okay, and after retargeting, it should make a little spinning move. Okay, and let's export it inside our mods test source raw folder. We will check the animation name in a moment. Okay, so for one of those generic animation replacements, you have to look for the animations NPC generic characters male average inside the locomotion folder. You can find the man average simulation locomotion. These are one of the most commonly used animations by the NPCs inside Night City. Let's look into it, and we can see that it has several basic animations, and we would like to replace the sprint 0 animation. Okay, so we have to rename our array file to sprint 0. And let's try to replace the sprint 0 animation. Process selected. And now we can see that it has exited silently. So the animation import didn't work, because as I said earlier, some of these files are unfortunately corrupted through Valvenkit. So you have to make sure that these files are intact, and some of these cooking functions should be updated to the latest 1.6 engine, because some things changed inside them. So I will fix this file. Let's look into our source folder. Inside animations, NPC, generic characters, male average locomotion, we can see that Valvenkit exported 400 kilobytes of it, but it should be it should be 680 kilobytes. So let's replace it. And after that, the import animation will succeed. Let's install and launch it. Let's see if I could replace the sprinting animation inside the game. So the sprinting animation is a pretty common thing inside Night City. When I scare the people, they will start to run, but instead of running, they will spin around. So an animation replacement was successful. Chaos and mayhem is happening inside Night City. Yeah.